Okay, welcome back, and in this video we're going to do the bench test for the Sport Cub S ready to fly airplane. So what is a bench test? Bench test is just to make sure that everything is working properly before you go out to the field. And so we'll test several things here. First off, we're going to test to make sure that the transmitter is working fine. As you saw, I've already put the battery in, and because it's not flashing, it's on high rates, so I'm going to move it to low rates. Now that it's flashing, I thought I left it on low rates before. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on. I'm going to turn it off. Maybe I didn't leave it on low rates. Wait a few seconds, turn it back on. Okay, that's interesting. Didn't know that. Learn something every day. When you turn it off, turn it back on, it defaults back to high rates. So I'm going to put it back on low rates for the bench test. Okay. We'll have to remember that when we go to fly, that we want it in low rates on the maiden flight. So now that that is ready, we will plug the battery in. Okay, and as the instruction manual says, when you turn it over, wait 5 seconds for it to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it's ready. And we already checked that the trims are neutral, so I'm not going to worry about that again. But we're going to test here to make sure that the controls are working. That's up. So when you turn the stick to the right, okay, so I'm going to turn the stick to the right. The right aileron is going up. I move the stick to the left aileron is going up, and the right aileron goes in the opposite direction every time. Okay. You might also know that the distance that the right aileron goes up is more than the distance that the left aileron goes down. That means differential is set, which is good. Okay, so the elevator goes up and down. Okay. So, and the rudder goes back and forth. And the motor works. Didn't do that on purpose, but I'm glad the motor works. Okay. Now that the motor is started, you can see that if I move this around, that the control surfaces are moving. For example, if I turn as if I'm turning to the right, okay, this is trying to level the wing, okay, so it's trying to level the wing. If I turn to the left, this is trying to level the wing. If I push the nose up, the aileron goes down. If I turn the nose down, the elevator goes up. I put the nose up, the elevator goes down. And if I go this way or that way, we should get a movement of the rudder. And the rudder doesn't mean to move very much, but that's okay. All right, so that's the self-stabilizing kind of, they call it AS3X sometimes, but it's a automatic adjustment for winds or other kinds of things that helps keep the aircraft flying stable. So those seem to be working fine. The motor has got plenty of power. The only thing I notice here, let me check both sides here. Yeah, all right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to unplug the battery and wait a few seconds and plug it back in. Okay. So, Notice when you turn it over, unplug the battery, all this stuff goes haywire. So you can see that this is up. That's normal. You can see that this is not level. That's normal. That's because when you turn it upside down, it's trying to turn itself right back, right side up. So what we're going to do is I'm going to turn this off again. I'm going to turn it back on in high rates. I'm going to leave it in high rates. I'm going to plug the battery back in. Okay, everything's good. Now, without moving the stick forward, I'm going to put this out of the way. I want to check the trims. Okay, so I'm checking to make sure that both ailerons here are level with the root of the wing. And I've noted here that the elevator is down a little bit. Okay, that this tip here on both sides means the elevator is actually going up this way. And that the rudder is also slightly off. If you look at it from this side, the rudder is slightly off there. So, I think what I'm going to do is not adjust that. I'm not going to adjust it mechanically, but I will tell you what I will do. I'm going to adjust the elevator trim by clicking, let me see. It's trying to make it go up. I'm going to click the upper button here to make that elevator go down. Okay, I gave it like 6 clicks of elevator. All right, so now that elevator is even with the horizontal stabilizer. And I'm going to give it a couple of clicks of, let me see, I want to go this way, so that's a right turn. So I'm going to do the right rudder trim. And after you do the right rudder trim, wiggle the right rudder. Okay. Because after you redo the trims, you ought to wiggle the control surface to make sure it's centered. Now that rudder is exactly centered with this. So I'm going to try it, the maiden flight in that method. But because of that, I'm going to leave it in high rates when I do the first flight. I'm also going to leave it in expert mode. Okay, so we got beginner mode, intermediate mode, expert mode, and because I'm an instructor, I always feel more comfortable having the maximum capability. Just in case those trims are correct, I don't think they are, but in case those trims are correct, where they were, I'll have enough rudder and elevator and control authority to fix that. Okay. So now I'm going to pull off the battery and turn off the radio. And so the bench test is complete. The control surfaces are centered, and we'll see if that's where they need to be or not on the maiden flight. So thank you for watching, and stay tuned to the next video.